Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Holistic Pillars platform, where we interview a lot of people around health and well-being and ways to improve lifestyle and well-being overall. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Kylie Jansen from Kylie Jansen Coaching, who is also the creator of a program called, what is it, Grow Your Greatness. I think I got that right. Kylie is
Yeah.
a mindset and life coach. Welcome, Kylie.
Big thank you for being here. It's quite a privilege.
I love the work that you do, and I'm thrilled to be able to expose it all to everybody around mindset and life coaching. And I think you touch on a little bit of NLP. Can you, first of all, tell me all about you? Tell me a little bit.
Oh,
Tell me a little bit about.
yeah. Thank you. I will. It's a bit like, where do you start, isn't it? Hey. A little bit about me. So I'm a mum, partner, a businesswoman, and I guess sister, daughter, all of those elements of life. And it's how do you integrate them all gracefully and with, I don't use the word balance, but it's just integrating it with harmony, right? So who am I as a person? You know what else? I call myself an enthusiast. So generally optimistic in nature. And there's times when that can catch you out too, though, right? But I love the work that I do. And really, in terms of the energy of how you meet people, I think that's in us meeting each other, Michelle. There's an energy exchange in life, and I seek to find good energies. Yeah. How's
Awesome.
that? Does
That's
that answer who I am?
perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
These things I love to give everybody some context. We met earlier last year in a coaching program and in a group of women doing a coaching program, and it was just extraordinary. And we really connected, and I love the work you do, and we've really aligned. And yeah, it's a great energy. I want to know a little bit now about your work. NLP Life and Mindset Coach. I'd love to know a little bit about your work, how your career transition, the things that you've done, what's brought you to doing what you do now with your coaching.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Michelle. Well, I mean, the essence of it, I support women navigating change. And really what brought me to this was my own journey, right? So it's amazing the things you learn along the way. So if I think back to my journey of what got me here, I had a couple of big life changes, as everyone does at different stages in our life. And I don't know that I mentioned them all with you, Michelle, but one particularly was coming out of high school, a school that really taught me that girls can do anything. And then I moved into a male-dominated, I was in the kind of printing graphic design industry, so creative, worked there for like 17 years. But that transition from high school to a working environment, I did an apprenticeship in those days. There was a real like aha moment of these adults around me actually don't know what they're doing. So I felt like, yeah, there was a real transition that happened there. So I could feel myself grow and change in a massive way. I was in an adult world. And along that process, it was an amazing industry. I say it was a work hard, play hard lifestyle, but I really got to a point where, towards the end of it, I was burnt out. So that was where I really got introduced to coaching and working out how to manage change and realizing that I couldn't do it on my own. So there was some big life changes that happened there. And then along the way, the next process really was that my brother died in his early 30s of a really aggressive short cancer experience, which really rocked our world as a family. But at the same time, in hindsight, there was that moment where you go, like, life is precious. And I realized there was things that I was putting off. And that really changed my perspective on how I approached life from that point. And I would almost say as a result of that is that my partner, Justo, and I ended up having our daughter, Artie, maybe 18 months after that. there was a bit of we'd been together for a long time. So there was, you know, those kind of life changes that really change your perspective of what's important. And that was something that we'd probably never really made a decision about or been, so, you know, the things that happen along the way. And then that next life stage was wanting to be, you know, a beautiful mum. I enjoyed and embraced the process. But then as my daughter got older, it was trying to work out the balance of wanting more for myself and really financially even to contribute to the family. So that's when I really got introduced to personal development and growth through direct sales. And for those who know me, my life in that era was Enyo. So a holistic, you know, eco-friendly product about health and well-being. That was the essence of who I was. But also in that process, that was the personal development and the skills that company put into their people to help them grow. I'd never experienced anything like it before. So that was where it was realizing that sometimes we need help outside of ourselves to learn new skills. And a part of it was shifting my thinking of who I thought I was as this mum, but also wanted to be this savvy businesswoman. But how do I balance both of those aspects? So then kind of, you know, 10 years down the track, as my daughter got older, it got to that point where now, and I'd say this was probably just pre-COVID, really, that I had that next kind of life shift of realizing that the difference when we have the right kind of attitude and mindset to what we're doing, it really does open our doors. And the women that I were working with, and this is probably leads into another question, Michelle, but it was about, you know, that when they ask, I ask people, what irks you, right? What is it that actually really gives you the irrits? And for me, it's when particularly women put themselves down. So that kind of like lack of acknowledging their own skills and their self-worth. And that's where I realized that's where I was. I thought I was just a mum when really I had so many other skills along the way. So that was a real turning point where I realized that, you know, coaching just opened up huge amount of doors for me and empowering me to see things with I guess, a more positive light about acknowledging ourselves. Yeah. So that's really what brought me to there. So through that period, then I went and did my certification and my NLP training. And then the life coach aspect and mindset coach was, I guess, to me, it was the key that unlocked the process of being able to, you know, do and create whatever it is that, you know, we want to create. So for me, it was the harmony of being, a good mum, and then this kind of, I say savvy businesswoman. I don't necessarily see myself like that, but I realize that when I can balance the two, I feel good. And, you know, that's the ultimate. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
I think we're past questions. I think we're just in conversation. I just love this stuff.
Yeah.
Because and I am going to then touch on, you know, the my holistic pillars. So we've got our 5 pillars of well-being, and we know we want to have balance across those pillars. And I know we've talked a lot about you know, collaborating on a few things, and but I know that, you know, we've got the holistic pillars, for example, or we all have well-being pillars. People may not name them 5 things like I have, but we all want to change, or we all see ourselves or don't see ourselves going in a particular direction. And I guess that's your job as a mindset and life coach, to tap into those areas. Am I on the right path here? And actually helping people, you know, unlock, well, I want to improve my health in this way, or I want to see myself in a particular position in this way. How do you get in there and unlock that with people?
It's that how, isn't it? Right?
It
how?
is.
How?
Yeah.
And Michelle, most people would come to me, they know they're stuck, frustrated, they want to create change, whether it is around, you know, their fitness or their nutrition or their health or other things like relationships or work. They know that they're kind of being tripped up and they want to create change, and usually they don't know how, right? So there's lots of different aspects to how, because how is the skills. So it's actually what we're doing and having the knowledge. But there's another part to how, and it's actually about who we're being. So who we believe that we are. So whether we even believe that we're capable of doing is we aspire to do. And that's probably the unlocking piece. And it is a process of, we talk about the onion layers, right? Of really just rediscovering who we are or who we think we are, and then that who we think we're not, and just helping us really align who we think we are with what we want and what we need to create along the way. So there is an element of tapping into our future vision of who we want to be. And a part of that is also delving into who we believe we are. So there's some lessons from the past to take along the process. But I always say to people, just trust that we're working in the present moment, because that's actually all that we have. So it's who I am now and what I'm going to do now that really determines where I'm going. So, and particularly as women, we process things externally, like by verbalizing them, it helps us process it. So a part of that process, because we all kind of know what we should do, but when we actually verbalize it, it's actually when it kind of grounds it and it gives it some meaning and some weight. So that is a part of the discovery process, is being able to verbalize it. Yeah.
Have talked a lot around when you do unlock that feeling, when you know you're on the right path, I think that feeling. So
everything's in flow, right? You know, when things feel good, don't we? So it alleviates the pressure and the should of what I can and can't do. Like that's a mindset piece. Absolutely. So yeah, a big part of it is tapping into our feelings. And for a long time in life, and I guess that's a part of my style of coaching probably too, Michelle, is it is all about the feels. And sometimes the feels can be scary, right? They can be big and overwhelming. But when we just pack it down to one thing at a time, and you'll know when you're in flow because it feels good. So rather than having this massive list that feels too hard, it's about making it really tangible and manageable and just one step at a time. Yeah. So an element of creating a plan as well, so you know where you're going. But the mindset piece is that it ends up becoming your driver when you've really tapped into that part of it. So, and that, what do they say when when your why is big enough?
I have to say that why, we all
yeah,
a strong why, and I love
strong why. It'll overcome any how. So the process of tapping to that will be your driver, absolutely. And I say that from experience, and I actually probably never really coaching and the personal experience, I probably wouldn't have believed it was it's such a draw card, right? It just clicks in. So there is an element of, remember we talked about that, having a strong sense of self.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. So in the end, it actually doesn't matter what the external world is throwing at you, because there will always be change and things that are uncertain and things we can't predict, because we all kind of like, to some degree, a lot of us like to have things that are manageable and we know where things are going. Sometimes that just doesn't happen, and it can be by choice or not. Is when you've got a strong sense of self, the thing that you're certain about is actually who you are, and that you've got your own back to be able to cope with whatever it is that's thrown at you. And sure, the other part of it is creating support network, and that's the part of your holistic pillars, is having these other ground foundations of support. But the essence of the biggest element of support is that when you've got your own back, I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. So that's what drives me. Yeah. And that's from my own experience, really. And it feels amazing. So I'm inspired to inspire other people, because when we all thrive in that way, when we all feel good and come from that place, it just eliminates a lot of the fear that goes on. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited by it. And I really think there's
Yeah.
some powerful messages there for people around, you know, we all want to do things, but we don't actually know how to get there. And I think if we center ourselves and we understand our why, we have a strong sense of self-love to start with, we can go anywhere. And I think you're a perfect example of that. I've done my own work around my why. There's a strong background to holistic pillars and why I do what I do. Um, and connecting with amazing people keeps me driven and motivated to my stuff. But this is not about me, Kylie. This is about you.
Well, it is too. It is too, because it's the things that complement, right? Isn't it? Yeah.
Of course. And I just love these connections. I love actually doing this in a way that it raises awareness to people and shows people that there's opportunities in abundance of the things that we can do to improve our own health and well-being. And that goes for mindset. It goes for physical, mental, emotional, all sorts of things. And I, for one, am a huge believer of coaching in all aspects, whether it be business, life, mindset, physical, all sorts of things. And I think we can always reach out and get help. I love did you want to just touch a little bit on your actual Grow to Greatness program before we close off?
Yeah.
I'd like to wait for another day on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the aspect of it is initially feeling stuck and frustrated. People come to me in that phase, and the majority, I predominantly work with women, but it doesn't have to be. And the essence of knowing that they want to create change, but not really knowing how or how to go about it. So there's that element of feeling a bit lost, right? And through the course of the program, it's a 3 or 6 month program that I run. It's about raising your self-awareness, knowing where you want to go, and then tapping into who you are in the process, and then aligning both of those things for you to take inspired action and to really live a life that you love. So the process it's a beautiful journey of the ups and downs of life along the way. And there's some really, when I work with people, that aha moments that they have is where sometimes we only know what we know until we know differently. That can be a beautiful process. The majority of women I work with, I would say, are heart-led and purpose-driven. Like, they're here and they know they want to have a good time. Life is for living, right? So that's just a little touch on what I do. It's a really safe space where people get to be really honest with themselves. Yeah.
And you have an energy about you that creates such a safe space. And I think I might book myself in.
Go for it. More than welcome.
And I know that we've got some exciting stuff ahead, and I would love to get you back on to this channel and talk more around the coaching side of things, NLP or whatever it might be. So stay tuned. I'd like to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me today and just having a quick chat about what you do and just, raising awareness for others. But thanks, Kylie. We'll catch up with you very soon.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you, Michelle. You're beautiful.
Thanks, darling.